We're starting with some deep breathing. If you're not familiar with deep breathing, try just simply breathing deeply into and out of your belly. It may help to bring one or both hands onto the belly to give you something to breathe into. So try here to breathe into the palms of the hands and feel the hands soften as you breathe out. We're here for a few breaths or more if you have time. The breath acts as a pump or a vacuum to pull the lymph, the lymphatic fluid, back to the heart. And in this way, it influences the movement of our lymph. We should always start with deep breathing and end with deep breathing. We'll go for a couple more breaths. And then we'll move on to the lymphatic massage, starting at the neck. At the base of the neck, along the collarbone or clavicle, behind the clavicle bone, in this triangular dip, we're going to plunge the fingers into the area behind the clavicle, behind the collarbone. We're stimulating the lymph nodes here. And we're starting with one side. So after a few passes, we'll switch over to the opposite side. Those lymphatic structures are the lymph nodes through which the lymph passes in order to be filtered and checked for things like viruses or pathogens that may indicate disease or any threats of any kind. When you do this on your own, know that you can choose to do both sides simultaneously, crossing the hands. And the more time you have, the more time you can spend here. We're going to go for a few more moments. Plunging the fingers into the dip behind the collarbones. And then next, we're going to move to the lymph nodes in the neck, and we'll take the palms to the sides of the neck, below the ears, and drag the skin down under our palms. Release the skin lightly, and then repeat the motion. It's almost like a pumping action. I'm dragging my hand downward, but not moving my hand very much. Then lifting my hand up slightly to repeat the pump from where it began. Here we're again stimulating the nodes to drain the fluid which it may already contain to ready them to receive more. Again, the more time you have to spend, the more passes you can make with each step. Moving slowly and intentionally. And then we're going to go to the nodes in the front and behind the ear. So for this, we join our first two fingers and our last two fingers, leaving out the thumb. Place the fingers behind and in front of the ears. And with the same pumping motion as before, drag the skin downward towards the neck, clearing the lymph through the nodes and moving it in the direction of the neck nodes, which we've just readied to receive more flow in the step previously. Again, moving slowly, intentionally, dragging the skin downward towards the neck in a downward motion, lightly and slightly lifting the hands up to repeat the motion. And then we're going to go to the nodes underneath the chin, on the jawline. We might be more familiar with these. These are the ones that usually swell up when we have an infection of some sort, say in the throat. So to stimulate these nodes, bring the thumbs together and place them under the chin. Then gently walk them out and back along the jawline. We're repeating this a few times. Again, I'll mention, as with the steps before, the more time you have, the more you can stay here. You can see that I'm moving slowly, I'm moving intentionally. I come back to the middle of the chin. I take the fingers outward and backward. Right, now we're going to come to the face. We can walk the fingertips gently along the face, from the middle of the face out to the nodes around the ear and jaw. Or we can drag the fingers along the forehead, from the nose outward and from the center of the chin outward. We can choose one or the other, or even try both. When we work on the face, we're working to drag and move the lymph along in the lymphatic vessels towards the nodes. So keep the pressure very gentle and light, and move in the direction of the nodes. I imagine the pads of my fingers when I start to walk my fingers along my face. I imagine the pads of my fingers as little millipede or centipede legs. I lift and walk my fingers ever so gently across my face, making room for the next centipede or millipede leg to move into its space. Ever so gentle lift and drag, or lift and walk the fingers out in the direction of the chin nodes, the ear nodes, and the front of the face. So after we do this step, we can repeat all the previous steps again, moving backward, moving the lymph backwards towards the center of the body, back into circulation. So down to the chin, right, same as before. Then to the ears, our Spock fingers in the front and the back of the ears. And then palms on the neck. And then down to the collarbones, dipping the fingers into that triangular space. And then we'll end with some deep breathing. And that's it.